The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome to all. I'm Mridul Mishra from Corporate Communications on behalf of Care Ratings. Welcome you to our today's webinar on impact of lockdown on MSMEs and appreciate your time in joining us for this webinar. At the onset, we would like to welcome our esteemed guest speakers for today. We have Mr. Tukabandhu Rath, who would be joining in some time. He's the Chief General Manager, State Bank of India. Mr. Rath took over as Chief General Manager, State Bank of India, Ahmedabad Circle in December 2017, after starting his career as Probationary Officer in 1984 in Bhubaneswar Circle. In his career span of 34 years, he has held various important assignments in credit, human resources, and international banking, including a foreign assignment as CEO of SBI in Bangladesh. Prior to this, he was Chief General Manager Operations at SBI's Corporate Center, Mumbai. Our second guest speaker is Dr. D.S. Mishra, Deputy General Manager at SIDBI. Dr. Mishra has more than 20 years of experience in the banking and finance industry working with SIDBI. He holds a PhD in economics. Dear sirs, it's a privilege to have you in this panel and we look forward to your views. Our speakers
Thank
from
you.
Care Ratings are Mr. Yogesh Shah, Director who is based out of our Ahmedabad office, and Kavita Chako, Senior Economist based out of our Mumbai office. Dear participants, will be having a Q&A session once the speaking session conclude. Nevertheless, in case of any queries, you are please requested to key in your questions. Now may I request Mr. Yogesh to take over the proceedings, please.
Thank you, Mridul, for the introduction. Good afternoon to all of you, and a warm welcome to the Care Ratings this webinar. There has been a lot of talk going on with respect to what could be the impact of the lockdown. Almost 3 months, 4 months period has passed on, and what could be the further lockdown period which will continue that we are not aware. So under that circumstances, the Indian economy has been affected severely. And especially if we talk about the MSMEs, which are already they are facing a problem with the bank credit and everything. So they are likely to be much more impacted. So we thought that this would be a right time and right basically venture in order to understand what could be the impact and having panels views also on that. So in today's webinar, first we will have the presentation covering the background of the MSME sector. Then we will also show you the outcome of a survey which is conducted by Care Ratings to understand the ground reality and the impact from the horse's mouth. Further later, we will also have the views of each of the panelists on the subject and followed by the panel discussion. And at last, as Mridul said, we will having a Q&A session where the participants will be able to type in their questions, specific or general to the panel members. So let us start the presentation first. First of all, we take a quick look at the MSME sector. So MSME are amongst the strongest drivers of the Indian economy and constitute a critical segment. So they operate through a network of nearly 63 million units, and out of which nearly 48% are falling in the urban area. So there are good amount of units in the rural areas as well. And if you talk about the workforce, then almost 111 million people are employed with the workforce in the MSME sector, so and which is considered to be the second largest employment provider after the agriculture sector. So in terms of the product segment, approximately 31% of the MSMEs are involved in the manufacturing activities, having the product portfolio of more than 8,000 products catering to various domestic as well as the export markets. And the balance 69% are basically delivering the service sectors. And within that also 36% of the entities are falling under the trading segment. So if we talk about the contribution of MSME segment to the GDP, it contributes almost 30%, nearly to the 30%, and which is aspired to reach to the 50% level in coming years. And this is definitely utmost necessary to have the growth of the MSME segment if the government wants to reach and accomplish the target of 5 trillion economy in the coming years. MSMEs also contribute significantly to the export market. So nearly 50% of the total exports of the country are contributed by the MSMEs, and are also a major contributor to the Indians' foreign exchange earnings. So if we talk break up that into the direct and indirect exports, so direct export sector contributes nearly 35%, while the balance 15% is contributed by the indirect exports, which includes the trading houses or the merchant exporters or the export houses. If we talk about the specific products, then export of the garments, leather, gems and jewelry, they basically contribute significantly in the export market. And it has been steadily growing as well to the major export destinations like USA, European Union, and the Japan. So due to its inherent nature, including the widespread presence, high employment provider, wide product basket, so the effect of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic on the segment would have the far-reaching impact on the Indian economy. And hence the government has also announced and implemented significant stimulus measures to help this segment. So let us see the trend in the bank credit to the sector in the next slide. So if you look at the slide from calendar year 14 to calendar year 19, the bank credit growth has been very low to the segment. And over a period, the various structural changes has also been made, like demonetization, GST implementation. So that has also shown some disturbances to the sector. Further, the credit growth was also muted in FY19, owing to the continued stress in the lending system, coupled with the US-China trade war issues. There has been significant fluctuations in the crude oil prices as well, which has evolved into the moderation of the GDP growth. So that has also impacted the MSME segment to the greater extent. Even if we talk about the H1 of the current calendar year 2020, there also on account of the COVID-19 pandemic, the growth has still muted. So, but if you look at closely the various line charts, then you will be able to see the structural shift of the credit growth towards the services sector. So despite its importance, it is still facing a lot of challenges with respect to the adequacy and the timely availability of the finance. The share of the MSMEs in the gross bank credit has remained low at nearly 12.9%. So which has actually came down from 15% 4 to 5 years back. So the bank rate to the larger sector, larger corporates, that has grown significantly, nearly 6 to 7%. So, however, it may be noted that lately the sector is also moving towards the NBFC. So many NBFC, non-banking finance corporations, that has started lending to the sector. So now nearly 30% of the total requirement of the sector is also being contributed by the NBFC sectors. However, the problem of the access to the bank credit is more severe in case of the micro and small enterprises, which has limited availability of the finance from the conservative sources. So the inability results in the various vicious cycle of availing the higher cost funds, resulting into the lower profitability, then again leading to the poor cash flows, so again leading to the weaker credit profile, and hence again it restricts the ability of the access to the formal sources. So in order to address these situations, the government has taken various measures. Even under the COVID-19 relief umbrella, they have taken significant measures, and which is likely to lessen the hurdles faced by the segment. So moving to the next slide, the good thing which has happened is the acceptance of the long pending demand of the MSME sector. So the government has already announced the revision in the definition of the MSMEs, so which was previously focusing only on the investment criteria. So now they have already introduced the annual turnover part of it. So if they are falling into satisfying both the conditions, then they will continue to be in a micro and small or the medium enterprises, depending on the range. So the revision in the definition is probably likely to encourage various technological upgradation or the modernization of the plant and machinery for the better quality, credit quality or the quality of the output. And it seems that this will make capital intensive MSMEs and the startups to basically avail the government incentives and neutralize the impact of inflation, which the investment limits, which was set very late, nearly 15 years back. Second intent in this regard is the wide reaching of the various government schemes to the larger number of the establishments. So the various schemes which are already availed by the MSMEs, now more number of MSMEs will be able to take part of the same, like the public procurement policy of 25% mandatory compulsorily procurement by the CPUSCs from the MSEs, then various interest subvention schemes and etc. So moving to the next slide, where we have basically tried to focus the CARE ratings portfolio in the MSME segment. So CARE has a SCG vertical which takes care of the MSME rating assignments. And we have nearly 2,000 live ratings in the segments, and we have rated more than 5,000 entities in the overall segment. So if we closely look at the portfolio, the engineering and the construction entities leading the role, with the majority of these entities in the civil construction segment. And these entities are primarily contractors who undertake small to medium size government projects, especially on the EPC basis, as well as the subcontracting of the private parties. So coupled with the construction industry, the entities engage in the consumer food, textile, iron and steel. So they also contribute a good amount in our portfolio. Trading portfolio is also good amount, and these entities mainly consist in the trading of the multiple products, and their operations are normally characterized by the thin profitability and the moderate scale of operations. Service industries basically represent merely 3 to 4% of the overall rated universe. So in the next slide, we see the rating dispersion of the CARE rated SCG universe. So as you can see, the large part of the SCGs have been rated under the below investment grade category, which is almost 92% of the total rated universe. So these units are normally characterized by the thin moderate profitability, constitution as a partnership firm or the proprietorship firm. They normally have the limited geographical presence, and the working capital intensity in this sector nearly normally remains high. So this becomes a majority constraining factors and leading to more entities into the BIG category. And if we talk about the BBB minus and above categories, which are basically treated as the investment grade ratings, so there the many of the corporates are having good operating efficiency. They have above average financial profile, and they also have exhibited overall good performance over a period of time across the various cycles. However, if we look at say Q1 FY21, where the SCG segment has where exactly it has basically shown the MCR. So the MCR is the modified credit ratio, which shows the credit quality and how the credit quality moves in the rated universe. So it's more of like upgrade plus retention to downgrade plus retention ratio. So higher the things, higher the ratio, it's considered to be the better credit portfolio or the trend in the credit profile. So here at present in the Q1, it has remained in the range of 1.01. So it's almost, we can say that the upgrades and the downgrades has been in the similar range. So this is just to give you a background. I think this will act a good base for the further discussion on the COVID impact and the package announced by the government and the way the benefits have reached to the ultimate market. So further to gain the insight into the lockdown hit MSME current situation as well as the MSME segments reaction towards the said government stimulus, CARE Ratings have conducted a survey with a sizable number of MSME participants, of which some critical findings that we would like to present through this webinar. So now Kavita will continue the presentation covering the survey findings. Kavita, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, and good afternoon to all. CARE Ratings had conducted a survey on MSMEs to assess the impact of the lockdown on the segment and to see if the segment has benefited from the special economic package announced by the central government in May this year. In terms of support to the MSME segment, the special economic package, it has mainly been by way of liquidity support in the form of collateral-free and government guarantee-backed bank loans for a set time frame. Now, coming to the survey, we had conducted this survey over the duration of 2 weeks from 23rd June to 7th July. And we saw the participation of 345 respondents who belong to a cross-section of segments such as manufacturing, power, construction, education, hospitality, financial services, just to name a few. Our questionnaire was divided into 4 parts. The first part covered the special economic package for MSMEs. Part 2 looked at the impact of the lockdown on the sector, while Part 3 and Part 4 had questions pertaining to the benefits of the changes in definition to MSMEs and the future prospects. In terms of the survey respondents, the size of business in terms of turnover of the respondents to the survey ranged from less than 25 crores up to rupees 100 crores. While the majority of these respondents, that is 62% of the respondents, belong to the category having a turnover of less than 25 crores. Now coming to the findings of our survey, nearly 70% of the survey respondents have approached banks for collateral-free loans since the announcement of the special economic package. Okay, and the majority of them intend to borrow less than 1 crore. In terms of the loans which have been sanctioned by banks, it is seen that only 1/3 of the applicants who have applied for these loans have had their loans sanctioned by banks. And for the majority of them, nearly 50% of them, the cost of borrowing works out to 8 to 9%. In terms of the loans which have been sanctioned by banks, nearly 84% of this loan has been sanctioned to small size businesses, that is businesses which have a turnover of less than 50 crores, of which the sizable majority, that is over 53%, has been to businesses with a turnover of less than 25 crores. And in terms of sectors, it is the manufacturing sector which has accounted for the largest share of these sanctioned loans at around 25%. The other prominent sectors which have loans sanctioned to them belong to the textiles, construction, and engineering segments. In terms of moratorium, over half the survey respondents have availed of a moratorium from the banks. And here too, it is mainly the small size businesses, that is the ones with a turnover of less than 50 crores, which have predominantly availed of this moratorium. And again, here too, they belong to the manufacturing, largely belong to the manufacturing segment. The manufacturing sector has accounted for nearly 23% of the entities that have availed of a moratorium from banks from our sample survey. When it comes to NBFCs, only a small portion of the respondents have managed to avail a moratorium from their respective NBFCs. Most of them belong to the category of non-applicable. Coming to the impact of the lockdown. The lockdown is seen to have severely impacted over 63%, nearly 63% of the survey respondents. And of this, nearly a third of these respondents have faced revenue losses of over 50% in the last 3 months. Here too, it is mainly the small size businesses, that is businesses with a turnover of less than 25 crores, which have suffered the greatest losses. Nearly 76% of those who have suffered losses of over 50% belong to the category which have a turnover of less than 25 crores. And in terms of sectors, here too, it is mainly the manufacturing sector, which has seen huge revenue losses, followed by power sector, construction, services, textiles, and engineering. The main challenges that the businesses are facing on account of the lockdown, the ones that feature prominently are a fall in demand, contraction in cash flows, labor shortages, logistical issues, too many regulatory sanctions which are there, and a build-up in inventories. Now, in terms of whether the businesses have been able to pay salaries to their staff, our survey has shown that over 60% of the respondents have been unable to pay full salaries to their staff in the last 3 months. 70% of the small size businesses which have a turnover of less than 25 crores are the ones which have not been able to pay full salaries to their staff. Well, one interesting aspect here is that only a quarter of those surveyed have had to go and retrench their staff. Now, in terms of benefits from the change in definition of MSMEs, it is seen that nearly half of our survey respondents feel that they stand to benefit from the change in definition of MSMEs, and a major portion of them intend to increase their size now following this change in definition. And interestingly, here it is the small size businesses that intend to expand. Nearly 60% of our survey respondents who indicated that they plan to increase their size of business belonged to the category having a turnover of less than crores. And in terms of sectors, they mainly belong to the manufacturing and power sector. In terms of future prospects, most of the respondents, that is 65% of the respondents belonging to sectors ranging from power to manufacturing to construction and engineering, and the service sector also, expect that it would take 12 months and more for their business to get back to normal. Okay, and also it is seen that the MSMEs here have really not benefited too much in terms of fresh businesses from the prevailing anti-China sentiments. Lastly, in terms coming to the expectations of whether the business situation would improve, nearly half of those who have surveyed expect that their business situation is likely to improve in the next 6 months, and most of these belong to the manufacturing sector. In terms of the main areas which the MSMEs are seeking assistance to ensure that their business situation improves, it is mainly in the area of getting interest waivers, tax cuts, an extension in the moratorium, loan restructuring, financial support from banks and government, some form of direct cash transfer, and a relaxation in electricity and water charges, which feature as the top areas which have been stated by our respondents. We now will hear the views and perspective of our esteemed panelists. I request Yogesh sir to kindly take this webinar forward.
Thanks, Kavita, for the wonderful presentation. So it's quite insightful, especially if we talk about the sentiments of the MSME entrepreneurs on the various aspects. So it's good to understand that 48% of the people expect the situation to be better, and only 21% feels that the economic situation can be even worse. However, a good number of them also feel that the impact of COVID will last for almost a year or so. So it seems to be realistic as well, as there seems to be a slow progress on the medication or the vaccination on the disease. So further, if they are not able to pay salaries in full and reduce the staff, then may further impact even the banking sector. So, well, friends, we have invited two well-known bankers in the MSME segment, so one from SBI and one from SIDBI. So together would be considered as a major lender in the segment. So their views will definitely be a guiding factor, and it will definitely give a lot of acumen about the topic. So first, I will ask Mr. Dukhbandhu sir to at least share their some of the broad experiences in the segment and your assessment on the current situation and its impact on the MSMEs. Dukhbandhu sir.
Good afternoon. I was slightly late in getting connected because I was precisely out of headquarters, so lost the initial few minutes of the interaction. In fact, of course, I was out on a COVID mitigation package. We made some donations of 5 those ventilators to one of the government hospitals 100 kilometers away from Ahmedabad. So we are donating 25 ventilators in this different hospitals in Gujarat, and that's the reason I got little late. In fact, it is nice to be connected to this webinar. And coming to the, there is absolutely no second guessing that COVID has created all-out panic among all sections of the people, starting from the household sector to the business people. I mean, all segments and sections of the people have been affected. Coming back to the specific impact on the MSME sector, in fact, I can say that it has created the maximum impact is on the stoppage of economic activities. I mean, in different segments of the economy, the stoppage of economic activities have really triggered a lot of panic across the nation. You would have seen, I think, the different drivers of the economy, except, just for example, the laborers who are engaged in different segments of the economy. To be very specific, in Gujarat, in the textile sector, in Surat, the diamond sector, in Surat, the manufacturing sector, in Rajkot, manufacturing sector, in Ahmedabad, in the other sectors also. So these are because of the panic that has triggered. I think the economic, the manufacturing activities and the economic activities have been disrupted to a great extent. Complete lockdown, for more than a couple of months also, has further complicated the situation, and this has really created a lot of upheaval in the personal life cycle of the people and also on the economic life cycle of the units. And obviously, the MSME sector cannot be an exception to the overall cycle of things that have taken place. And this has created situation, overall factors, additionally factors like the credit deficit, shortage of working capital, decrease in demand for essential and non-essential items also would have a lot of impact on the overall economic cycle of the entire country. And this becomes all the more important because the MSME sector accounts for almost 33%. This was also visible in the excellent presentation made by Kavita. And the MSME sector accounts for almost 33% of India's manufacturing output, and also it employs more than almost 140 million in direct or indirect employment. Coming back to the direct, if we may measure the impact of the pandemic on the on the MSME sector in particular and the Indian economy in general, I think as a banker I can say that not only I'll say the reasons, the impact, and also the mitigations available thereof. The pandemic the world will experience a dearth of capital because, and will require a lot of financial institutions to lend a helping hand to the MSME sector. This is very, very important because I would again reiterate that MSME sector is basically contributes the core activity in the country and thereby strengthens the GDP. And the pandemic, it has really created a situation where there is a decrease in overall demand. For product, both essential and non-essential product, there is a decrease in demand also. Third is that, as I mentioned in the first, there will be dearth of capital. The need for working capital also will increase. I think especially for people, especially for entrepreneurs, as payment cycles would get disrupted. In fact, a lot of payment cycles would get disrupted. I think the Sunday debtors won't get realized. As per the assessments, obviously this would require a lot of the need for working capital will increase as payment cycles would be disrupted, extended, and it would generate a lot of cash flow issues also. The situation would prevail. If not at least in the short term, it would definitely prevail, if not in the medium term and in the long term. And as a banker, particularly, since our main focus is on working capital finance, so any shortage in working capital finance would certainly create a challenge for the manufacturing sector. So, since as a representative of the biggest bank in the country, I personally feel that our role as a banker would be basically to address the mitigation process where the manufacturing sector, finds it easy and convenient to avail working capital finance from the bank. Obviously, the need of the hour is availability of a very, very robust financial package. Obviously, it would come from the government. Implementation would be done by different agencies in the government of India, like SIDBI also will have a role. Not only SBI, other banks will have a role. And what is important, it is also important that the financial relief will not just provide temporary relief. It would also increase liquidity both in the short term and also in the medium term. So my assessment of the situation, and that as a career banker, that pandemic has definitely created a panic situation in the economy. It has created a lot of disruption in the economy, both in the personal, professional, manufacturing life, and in the overall economic cycle of the country in different sectors of the economy. But yes, this has also shown a lot of ways and means, and to get out of it. And the government of India has come out with many measures, many schemes to provide mitigation to different sectors of the economy. As the presentation made it very clear that the MSME definition has undergone change, and to come up to expectations. While all banks, the banking industry in general, are doing many things on their own and also on being guided and being advised by Government of India, we in SBI also we are contributing our bit. In fact, since I am in Gujarat, I would be very, very specific. Two things I would be very, very specific. We have entered into, in fact, just before the COVID started, we entered into an MOU with Government of Gujarat, and State Bank of India has been designated as the preferred banker by Government of Gujarat. And by virtue of the MOU, which was signed in the presence of the Chief Minister, Honorable Sri Vijay Rupani, any entrepreneur who is interested to start a unit in Gujarat will register himself or herself. The unit will register in the investor facilitation portal, and once the registration is over, it will generate a lead, and the lead will come to the bank, and we are committed in terms of the MOU to accord in principle sanction within a period of 15 days. And after 15 days, once the in principle sanction is given, and in the next 15 to 30 days, we'll do the due diligence and we'll provide financial assistance. And coming to the other facilities, in fact, we came up to two beautiful schemes. One is the COVID emergency credit line, and then after the 3 lakh crore package, that guaranteed emergency credit line came. And I'm very happy to share with you that we have sanctioned credit, the CECL COVID emergency credit line facilities to 10,000 borrowers in Gujarat. In Gujarat itself, 10,000 entrepreneurs have been sanctioned. Loans, almost 1,000 crores we have given, and this has been done in a record time of, less than a month. And it was followed when the government came out, finance minister came out with a package of that 3,000 guaranteed emergency credit line within the overall package. And we also didn't lose any time. And in Gujarat itself, we have sanctioned this guaranteed emergency credit line to 28,764 borrowers and almost 3,500 crores. So this is, if you take both the schemes together, in Gujarat, almost 25 to 30% of the overall sanctions made in the MSME sector have been made by SBI. And the sanctions also, the overall sanctions in terms of number is to the extent of 30% of the total sanctions made by the entire banking industry in Gujarat. So that is the contribution made by SBI. So having said that, not only SBI, other banks also have chipped in, and they are also trying equally seriously, I think, to contribute to the overall scenario. So I have a belief that considering the sincerity with which the entire banking industry is contributing to the entire process, I think the credit need, especially the need of working capital for the industry, be it manufacturing, be it trading, whether it is textile, whether it is any sector, which is there in the MSME sector, which is labor intensive or which is labor non-intensive also, they will not have any difficulty in coming out of this pandemic and coming to mainstream and contribute to the national economy in a big way. And but the fact remains that yes, I think in the short term, pandemic has really created a disruption. Obviously, this is the age of disruption. So we feel that this COVID-19 pandemic is nothing short of a disruption. Initiated by the nature. This has really created an upheaval. In the personal life of people, in the professional life of people, in the economic life cycle of the country. But we'll certainly get out of it. I'm very optimistic. As a banker, I'm very optimistic that in course of time, we'll definitely get out of it. Thank you.
Great, sir. So it seems that SBI has already taken a lot of initiatives in this regard to take care of the present situation and MSME borrowers' needs for the funds. So over to Mr. Mishra. So he will be able to share his own experience with respect to the SIDBI and your own perspective with respect to the overall impact on the MSMEs. Sir, please.
Yeah, good afternoon all. My regards to Rath sir and the Yogesh and Kavita. SIDBI, as such, the Development Financing Institute doesn't have much experience as like SBI, but we are a backbencher of SBI and pushing our fund to the financial sector. In this pandemic, already we have told a lot about the pandemic and its impact, and Rath sir has also told categorically about the working capital requirement and the importance of MSME to bring the MSME onto the track for taking the economy again back on track. Coming to that, initially when the pandemic has started with the alarming the close down from March 23, 2020, immediately after 10-12 days, RBI has come up with a package of 50,000 crore, out of which SIDBI has got 20,000 crore as refinance to infuse the fund in the economy through different public sector banks. Accordingly, in the immediate position, SIDBI has carved out a fund of 200 crore for only to provide the bottom line MSMEs who are mainly in the manufacturing or in the medical sector to provide the support to the manufacturer and the medical personnel to fight against corona. All over India, without any hassle, it is a hassle-free loan with a small loan application through mail and documentation through mail, and the TAT of that loan is of 1.8 days. That means within 1.5 days, we could disburse around 200 crore, more than 450 the MSME units. That was the unique kind of SIDBI intervention, mainly towards the pandemic, to help serve the people who are providing equipment to fight against the pandemic. Number two, as such, the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for MSME has been started in May 13, 2020. But prior to that, although SIDBI doesn't do the direct finance as like other banks, but being in different places in all India, we want to get a hands-on experience about MSME, because the MSME is the breeding ground of the industry. And unless we get the pain points of the MSME through our direct lending, we cannot help our hand for their handholding, either directly to them or to support the government or regulatory authority to come up with some policies. It would be noted here, and I am so happy to mention here that prior to the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for MSME Yojana started, SIDBI has launched a liquid program. That is liquid. Liquid means to give the fillip of the working capital immediate requirement of the MSME who are the existing customer of SIDBI in the direct finance kitty. Although SIDBI's direct finance kitty would be much lesser in comparison to the total balance sheet size of SIDBI. In that, the exact replica for liquid has come into as the emergency credit line guarantee scheme of like 3 lakh crore. Out of 3 lakh crore, initially it has been given to SIDBI to work through the NCGTC, one of the subsidiary of SIDBI, wherein NCGTC will be providing guarantee to all the bankers, all the borrowers for the outstanding WCTL or working capital provided to the MSME. Also for the interest they will be providing on that loan. That is the NCGTC subsidiary of SIDBI. And till date, for the information of the public, whatever I have collected from the public domain, till date with all the public sector banks and the private banks, they have sanctioned 1.2 lakh crore under the emergency credit line guarantee scheme. And out of that, the hardly 2-3 days before, the disbursement figure was 61,987 crore disbursement. Within that, the emergency credit line guarantee scheme. If you take, as the Yogesh already mentioned, our share of bank finance to the MSME is much less than the NBFC. In this context, out of the emergency credit line guarantee scheme, NBFC till date has sanctioned for 54,000 crore, out of which they have disbursed 26,000 crore. That is the main scheme, the robust scheme launched by the Government of India, timely for infusion of the working capital at the time of need, to bring back the working capital cycle in the control of the MSME. Number two, second scheme under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan Yojana was 20,000 crore subordinate debt. If I narrate the 3 lakh crore ECLGS scheme, there the existing customer of the respective banks, they will be only given 20% of their outstanding loan as on date of February 29, 2020, subject to the upper cap of 5 crore. That means, if irrespective of the bank, one MSME is having the overall credit exposure up to 25 crore, he will be eligible to get 5 crore of working capital infusion, provided his turnover should not be beyond that 100 crore. That is the eligibility criteria. And that loans is having a repayment period of 3 years, in addition to that one year moratorium period for that loan. Then it comes to the interest slab. Interest slab is hovering somewhere around 8 to 9%, even to a fine tuning that some commercial bank has come up to a bit lesser that, to providing a good helping hand to the MSME. Number two is 20,000 crore has been carved out in that Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan Yojana for as sub-debt to the promoters of the MSME. Here the point should be noted, this 20,000 crore is not to the MSME. This 20,000 crore would be disbursed to the promoters of MSME as a personal loan, wherein they are conditional to infuse in their respective MSME units towards the equity infusion. That is the second method the government of India has come up with under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan Yojana. Third one is the change in the definition, what already Kavita Madam has deliberated upon. With that change in the definition, it will definitely bring a competition and the zest and chill up to the MSME who are in the bottom line. they can be aspired for going in a higher pedestal through the technology upgradation or infusion of the know-how. That will also create some few benefits to the SSI, which has been restricted because of the definition to a lower MSME rung. That will be enhanced up to 10 crore plant and machinery for SSI. A scheme like the credit linked capital subsidy scheme of Government of India or the state government's capital subsidy scheme or interest subsidy schemes will be giving benefit to that the higher amount of plant and machinery slab MSME after the revision of the definitions. Third one is to motivate the domestic MSME. The Atmanirbhar scheme has come up with a disallowance of the foreign tenders towards the tenders up to 200 crore. The foreigners are debarred to participate in the tender. That is a good sign for our Swavalamban, so that we can be vocal for our local MSMEs. Number fifth is 30,000 liquidity facility for NBFCs, HCs and MFIs. Those 30,000 has been given to the NBFCs and MFIs to create the basic grounding work before the MSME comes into the field. Because there is a lower rung MFI, they have been giving the helping hand to the micro enterprises, where they are not even coming under the micro definition. They are much below than them. In different clusters, people are requiring hardly of 1 lakh or 2 lakh or more less than that to pursue some income, to get some income generating asset, to pursue some the activities so that they can get some benefit from that sector to give some income to their family holdings and also contribute towards their GDP. That is a major chunk. That's why the Mudra has come into play there. And this fund basically targeting towards the NBFC to give a liquidity fillip to that sector which has not been categorized at the MSME definition. Number 6 is that 45,000 crore partial credit guarantee scheme for NBFC. That is scheme 2 for NBFC. That is 45,000 crore partial credit guarantee. There they have devised two things. One is a mother fund, somewhere around 10,000 crore, and the remaining around 40,000 crore will be created as a daughter's fund. Both together would be created the sphere in the economy for giving a capital infusion in trenches. This is the basic, the financial benefit has come up with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for MSME. Although there are a number of other schemes where the SIDBI also is one of the implementing agency. You may know that the Pradhan Mantri Swanidhi Yojana, wherein all the street vendors have been given an opportunity to get 10,000 loan amount by logging into the Udyami Mitra portal, wherein that portal has come into existence since 2015. It has been created by SIDBI and it is widely circulated in the sphere of the banking fraternity, wherein many bankers and the handholding agencies and the MSME are in the portal. Whosoever the street vendors, now the option is that the urban local body will also come into that portal and they will certify the vendors registration there, and the moment vendors are registered there, they will lodge a single page application there, and different bankers whosoever are there in the portal, they will choose that application and give the loan to the street vendors. And there also the interest subvention is there, and there is also a backup incentive to the street vendor if they adhere to the strictly to the repayment schedule. All the things have already come into the picture. This is a dream project of the Pradhan Mantri to give from the bottom line to the higher into the corporate economy also. All will be given the equal share to play their role so that the entire GDP can grow, and where the SIDBI is a very privileged institution to provide, to be the implementing agency for that. This is broadly the financial schemes under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan Yojana. Coming to the impact, to me, already Raj sir has built upon, the MSMEs have been badly hit by the fall in demand. When one side, in the demand side, there is no demand. In the supply side, there the problem like labor, like the Gujarat. Gujarat is a capital intensive state, but it is a labor scarcity state, and labor comes from the east and capital in the west. So we should think of, as a proposition, we can think of to confluence both the things. Either the capitalists from Gujarat, they can go to the eastern side to come up with some setup of MSME, so that the labor problem in the pandemic, what we have experienced, that cannot be even interfaced or encountered in future. Similarly, also if some it would be, if we can come up with some app either from the private sector organization or by the intervention of Government of India, so to create the labor registration through that app with all sorts of security to the labor, like the transportation, they are in havoc, they are on the street. If that kind of registration through app or some registration portal can be done, and labor will be given the assured mentally they will be assured, then migration would not be a problem, and again the problem would be sorted out in a short span. Number two, increasing receivables. As the already Rasa told, because of cluttered debtors, there is no realization of the receivables. Then logistic and transport is completely stalled or halt. Then regulatory restrictions, there might be some regulatory restriction due to this lockdown. There the problem for both the transportation, labor migration and other things which can be a hindrance now. Then the built up inventory, there are inventory, even raw inventories, raw metals are there, it is yet to be utilized. It is the less of utilization of the capital by the entrepreneur. Some finished goods are already stuck in the premises, and this kind of havoc is there. Then finance part, although their scheme has already come up, there is a mixed reaction in the economy, and although the bankers are very pro to carry forward the objective of the Government of India and other objectives, still the pace of the disbursement is not up to the mark. We as a banker and SIDBI, we are striving a lot to give the boost to the financial injection to the economy. Then the contraction of cash flow will definitely come back. These are the major hurdles and the shortcomings for the MSME as a whole. Coming to the banker, with this, there are two things comes to my mind, and also the very much debatable in the economy. One is the moment the RBI has declared the moratorium of 3 months. Immediately they have 3 months moratorium from March, April, May. Immediately they have realized that the June, July, August also be given the moratorium. Till date, we have got the moratorium 6 months. That means by August 31 for bank or for the development institution like up to September 10, the moratorium is over, and immediately the MSMEs will be told to give the repayment back as per their normal repayment schedule. Although the moratorium has been shifted to the last part of repayment, there the interest portion from this, the interest portion in the moratorium has also been funded by the banker, which will also add to the repayment burden to the MSME. Now there is a thinking, if after the moratorium, if the repayment is get impacted, then there might be a chance of the loss in the repayment, or the asset may be categorized as non-performing. If that would be the case, per se, the banking as a whole, the kitty is of 101 trillion rupees. Out of that, today the NPAs are somewhere around 9.4 trillion by the end of the March 2020. After this moratorium, if 20% of the fund infusions come into the NPA, there is a rough estimation conservatively, somewhere 10 trillion would be the addition of NPA. With both the things together, it may go up to the 20% of the total bank book, and it will be somewhere around 20 trillion NPA. That is one that will be having a radical impact on the banking, the bank book. Large provisioning, then infusion of the capital. Infusion of the capital means burden on the government for PSP, and for the private bank, they have to go to the market. This kind of the impact must be there. Considering there would be 2-3 propositions, whatever the Government of India also the thinking about that, because 2-3 days before the 2-3 days in the newspaper, there is also declaration about that there might be a proposition for the banker, if the regulatory authority decides with the support of the Government of India, structuring the present loan for a period, so that burden will not come automatically on the same day. And number two, again the extension of the moratorium till a further period of November end or March, whatever the government and the regulatory authority decide. But we are, as a banker and should be as a development financing institutions, we are much more optimistic, and we are so proud of this the neatly fabricated banking scenario in India. Both our Government of India and the regulatory authority are very pro, and they have come up with timely the policies and regulations, so that the entire economy should not be derailed, and to come to the back on the track. With this, the Yogesh, please carry on. That this is my end.
Yeah, sir, got it. So, as you pointed out that probably the NPA levels can increase substantially. So even the IMF has also came out with a certain study where they have said that overall world economy, like the bankruptcy rate in the SME segment can rise almost 3 times from 4% to 12%. But the question still remains. I'd like to ask Mr. Dugbandhu Rath sir that what is your feeling, sir? Like the kind of figures that we are talking about on the NPA levels, what is your assessment on the same? And probably like whether Indian banking sectors are capable of taking care of such a high level of NPA levels. What is your feeling, sir?
See, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, actually, this pandemic has created a very peculiar problem. The peculiar problem is that it has affected the demand both at a personal level and also at a non-personal level, in the sense that the demand for products has gone down, and this has affected the the overall economic activity in the country. I'll come to NPA. I think how to the NPA scenario little late, but let me at least share with you. What exactly is the immediate priority for the banking sector? Is that how do we contribute as a community? Whether it is State Bank or for that matter any other bank, how do we contribute to creation of economic activity in the country, so that the demand for consumption, in fact at an individual level, there has to be a substantial increase in the demand for consumption. And every bank is coming out with scheme, and in SBI also I can say that we are coming out with we have already come out with a scheme, the scheme of pre-approved personal loan, where I think on the basis of artificial intelligence and analytics, we have worked out our customers of the huge database of 47 crore customers. We are ready with the help of analytics as to who are the people who can be financed pre-approved, sanctioned under pre-approved personal loan. Let me share with you that to avail pre-approved personal loan, in short PAPL, the customer will not be required to the bank, and if he has internet banking facility and he can sit at home and no documentation, nothing, and he can avail the loan. And let me share with you, Mr. Yogesh, that this is really working wonders. I think the pace at which we are sanctioning credit facilities and the pace at which people are availing PAPL, it is really phenomenal. And this is creating, contributing to the economic cycle of the country. And similarly, we have come out with a scheme for the builders in the real estate sector. Here also, the basic challenge for the sector, for the banking sector and for the government, is that how to revitalize the economic activity in the different segment of the society, whether it is personal consumption, whether it is consumption of industrial goods, or whatever it is. That is the basic challenge. So what we have done, we have come out with sector specific products, as I mentioned to you, especially GECL, which is a very, very landmark step as far as we are concerned. And as Dr. Misra mentioned, in SBI we have sanctioned credit facilities to 5.33 lakh of our customers, of our borrowers in the MSME sector. I think those who fulfill the eligibility criteria, and the loan amount sanctioned is it's a staggering 21,000 crore. And we are very, very aggressively, we are not only sanctioned the loans, and we are also taking care of the disbursement part of it. Yes, as Dr. Misra has rightly mentioned, that in the long term, in the medium term and the long term, the generation of NPA and the resultant requirement of capital could become a pretty big challenge in the days to come. But yes, I think every crisis throws some challenges, and now that the Reserve Bank of India, he also mentioned about the regulatory restrictions, but I would say that in consonance with the sentiments and in consonance with the demands of the economy, the regulator has really come out with a lot of very, very timely steps, whether it is moratorium up to 31st of August, it is there, and there is still talk that it may be further extended by another 3 months. I do not actually feel that in the Indian context that generation of NPA would be that substantial, because notwithstanding this moratorium that has been extended by banks on the basis of regulatory advice, every bank in general, and we in particular SBI, we are trying to, I mean, ensure the asset quality, the quality of our asset portfolio to the best of our ability. In fact, both generation of further NPA and generation of further SMA in different segments of the advances, we are very, very careful. Though in the long run, it may not be ruled out. I mean, some NPA may not be ruled out, but I personally feel that there is no reason to feel absolutely pessimistic about generation of huge amount of NPA in the long run in the banking industry. And I think the industry, especially the banks in India, they're, I think, after the recent phase of consolidation, and they will be robust and resilient enough to tackle the NPA scenario in case that comes up in the medium term. But I, for one, am not that pessimistic about any drastic change that might take place in generation of NPA, which would require a lot of capital, lot of provisioning. I really, as of now, I really don't foresee, because in fact, it may not be inappropriate to mention that I mean, our experience in Gujarat has been exceedingly good in the real estate sector, in the SME sector, in the personal banking sector. I mean, in the agri sector also. I think so far we have not experienced any difficulty. The economic cycles and the pandemic have not affected the asset quality to a great extent. Yes, minor aberrations are there, which were likely to be there. I think COVID-19 obviously, was sure to bring some upheaval here and there, but I think things are well under control. And if you maintain this due diligence in the days to come, there is no reason as to why we should accumulate a lot of NPA in the days to come, thereby creating a lot of pressure on not only on the balance sheet on account of provisioning, and also the resultant capital requirement that might come on the government. I think I'm not that pessimistic on this front.
So we are definitely not that much conservative. We definitely feel probably the kind of efforts which has already gone and which has already touched the market. So probably the things are likely to get recover, and we are not going to be affected that much.
Okay, let me just share with you a very small thing, a small example I can give you. See, 1 month back, people are really on the run. But I'll tell you now, the number of people who are taking, see, this COVID has created new opportunities. See, now the demand for low-end car, has increased like anything. Even people who are in the, those who are not in a position to buy a high-end car of say 10 lakhs and 12 lakhs, they are going for low-end cars. So that has created demand for the low-end cars, and the demand has really picked up like anything. I think in the month of July, we see a very, very, huge increase in sale of cars, and the increase in finance. It is there in different other sectors of the economy, though, in fact, the entire data is not with me. Yes, as I mentioned right in my opening remarks, pandemic COVID-19 created a disruption, no doubt. But it has also created new vistas in the economy. And I think we bankers, we should be matured enough to take our lessons and to come up with mitigations. I think we should be strictly in tune with the demands of the situation, and which will also be absolutely, work as mitigations to find out not only solutions in the short term and also in the medium term.
Fair enough. Sir, before we move to the next question, may I request Kavita or Mridul to show the slide of this change in the definition of MSMEs, because many questions have come up on that regard. So participants wants to know more clarity on the same. So can you just show that? So that would be helpful. Sir, secondly, what the overall participants also wants to know that you rightly pointed out that there are specific sectors which are getting affected much more compared to the other sectors. But what is our feeling like with respect to these MSMEs? Any specific sectors which will definitely emerge as the strongest compared to the other ones in this kind of disruptions? Any thought process on the same, Dukhandu sir?
No, actually, it is really too early to really predict as to which sector of the economy would, would appear stronger. Because as Dr. Misra has rightly pointed out, there are certainly some issues which need to be addressed much more comprehensively. You would have seen that when this COVID-19 was in full flow, lakhs and lakhs of laborers who virtually constitute the core of the economic activity. Whether it is a diamond sector, whether it is textiles, whether it is manufacturing, any other sectors in the economy which are labor intensive and which employs a huge labor force across the country. In fact, you would have seen the type of a type of upheaval in the entire country, and the migrant laborers, they moved out of see, as rightly pointed out, in Gujarat, lakhs and lakhs of laborers have moved out of the Surat belt, Rajkot belt, Ahmedabad belt, and similar is the situation in other parts of the country. So see, providing finance is one part. Definitely the bankers and the government of India, they're onto it. But at the same time, I think the government, the central government and also the state governments, they have to come out with policies so that the issues relating to the migrant laborers, the laborers, I think, who contribute to the creation, to the economic activities in different sectors of the economy, they play a very, very vital role. I think some discipline is brought about in the overall sector, because now I'll tell you that now the builders, say for example, the builders, they are ready with the capital. They are determined to carry on with the project, but they don't have the labor. They find it very, very difficult to hire the labor because the labor force has left. So some fundamental, some structural, I think, reforms are necessary, particularly as far as labor law is concerned, their movement, their employment, their registration, and all those things, so that entrepreneurs in different segments of the economy, they find it easy to engage labor, and I think they make the economic cycle moving. It is very difficult, I think, in the present context. I think it may not be appropriate.
Probably we can say that those, in fact, in the past also, so far as the credit rating is concerned, we have observed that like probably the entities having a good amount of liquidity and lowly leverage and more focused on the niche segment or even the innovated products. So probably they are more likely to survive compared to, so rather than going more about the sector specific, it's more of the unit specific. Probably they would be more rather they'll be able to take care of this case of a pandemic related situation in much more better compared to the other units.
Right.
Correct. So one more question is to Mr. Mishra, that in case of micro enterprises, the majority of the loans are in the individual name, which is not covered under the ECGC scheme. So is there any representation? So what the question is, the majority of the loans for the micro enterprises are in the individual name, so which is not covered under the ECGC scheme. So is there any representation to consider the individual MSME loans also under the ECGC scheme?
No, so far that is that have not come, but only whatever we talk about the scheme, that is only for the MSMEs without any individual loan. Till date, there is no guidelines for that. It is only for the MSME.
Correct. And sir, how is the SBI or SIDBI is equipped to support new MSME businesses who are starting the business? So under the present scenario, like if so somebody sees a good opportunity in the fresh business, so how SBI or SIDBI is likely to support to that?
Yeah, Yogesh, in fact, our roles are little different. SIDBI's role and the role of SBI is different. I think we as a commercial banker, as I said with you right in the beginning, our priority and our commitment is the MSME sector. In fact, I mean, we are deeply entrenched in financing to the MSME sector. I mean, whether it is in the small enterprise, micro enterprise, medium enterprise, or maybe the other loans also. As I mentioned to you, that to give a big boost to the MSME sector, we in Gujarat, in fact, we came out with a landmark MOU with which we signed with the government of Gujarat. You know, Gujarat is a state of, I mean, lot of entrepreneurial activities there in Gujarat. So we came out with a very landmark MOU, and which we signed in the presence of the Honorable Chief Minister. And we are committed in terms of the MOU. We are committed to, provide in principle a sanction to any entrepreneur who is coming up with a new project. The process of due diligence would be definitely there, but at least we are making it sure that any entrepreneur who is keen to start a project in Gujarat, and he is given a decision within a period of 15 days regarding the availability of credit facilities to the unit, and thereafter in the next 30 days we will complete the process of due diligence and we will complete the process of financing, I mean taking care of the financing requirement of the company. Now similarly, I mean, not only that, it's not a fact that only because we have signed an MOU with the government, we are keen to finance MSME. It is not like that. In all other states, in all the 17 states, in 17 circles of State Bank of India covering 22,000 branches across the country, in fact, as a matter of corporate policy, we are committed to financing MSME sector. In fact, one thing I would like to share with you, that just a few days back, I mean, not only the circles, we, I mean, through webinars and WebEx, we interacted with, in a cluster based, we interacted with thousands of, entrepreneurs across the country, and we assured them that your activity is not going to suffer for want of finance. If you are already with us, we are with you. And if you are not with us, if you are starting a new project, also we are with you, because presently, let me share with you, liquidity is not a problem. Either with
probably that shows the confidence of the banker to revive the economy, and even they are backing the borrowers to the MSME segment as a whole. That's great.
We are committed to contribute our might for revival of the economy. We in SBI, and similarly other banks are also equally a bit. They are also doing their bit. The banking industry in general, we in particular,
and that is even possible, even if the full amount of collateral is not available, right? I think that kind of schemes are already available. Mr. Sir, one question is probably pertaining to you. So, is there any changes in the NPA classification norms which are likely to happen because of the prolonged COVID-related impact? Any thought process? RBI is considering anything on that?
That is, I am very limited to talk about that because it is a policy issue. I am from a branch at Ahmedabad. Per se, whatever the news goes, there is a proposition that the government also thinking of to recommending to the regulatory authority for a kind of the extension of the moratorium or the restructuring. The classification NPA, there is no chance of change for us, I think, in my little knowledge. But definitely, the situation would be grave as we are going forward. So definitely, Government of India and the regulatory authority will think about. Supplementing the views of the Ratsar, see, sitting at Ahmedabad also, I have some direct finance to the MSME. My experience is also there is a mixed experience. I have got the FD from few MSME customers in this duration also, where we are offering them liquidity. Few are also coming up to take the liquidity. Few are also avoiding the interest funding, and few are also refusing the moratorium period to accept. And at the similar time, few are also telling, "Ki sir, we have surplus fund, we want to deposit." This kind of the commitment also the Gujarat MSME entrepreneurs are having. They are quite vibrant and resilient to whatever the situation comes. And at the same time, Gujarat is altogether a separate ball game than other states. And we are experiencing. See, when I came to the Ahmedabad 4 years before, the MSME funding must be hovering somewhere around 75,000 crore. but today it must be nearing double. So before pandemic, and with the pandemic and this whatever the infusion and whatever the policy guidelines comes, if that will be there, so definitely MSME in Ahmedabad or Gujarat as a whole will be blooming, and the same would be replicated or same must be followed by other states also.
Right, sir. So great, sir. Sir, I think there are many questions from audience, but due to I think lack of time, we'll be able to address one or two questions. One question is to Mr. Dukhbandhu sir, that see presently, if we talk about the interest rate, so interest rate has already started reducing, right? And even the interest rate transmission study that is conducted by CARE, nearly 75% of the reduction in the repo rate has already translated into the reduction in the WALR. That is the weighted average lending rate. So, what is your feelings? Do you see further reduction in the lending rate going forward for the MSME units? And
please.
And whether this kind of like a low interest rate regime is likely to long for the period that we are looking at?
See, actually, the low interest rate regime, I mean, is more or less the new normal. With continuous reduction in the repo rate being effected by Reserve Bank of India, and coming back to the transmission of the interest rate concessions, I mean, made available by Reserve Bank of India. I can speak for SBI, and that we have the benchmark rate, that is the EBLR. This is external benchmark linked rate, and as a matter of policy, this EBLR, which is linked to the repo rate, and hence our endeavor is to make the transmission to the extent of 100% for MSMEs. Because even adhering to EBLR, which is aligned to the repo rate of the regulator, Reserve Bank of India, and it is not only our intent, because it is the policy of the bank, and whatever reduction takes place in the repo rate, as a concomitant to that, the external benchmark linked rate would also change from time to time. And it would be our endeavor and it would be our commitment to ensure 100% transmission to the MSME sector.
Great, sir. One last question I would like to take.
Our MD just yesterday, in fact, he took a detailed review to ensure that 100% transmission of the interest rate arising out of the repo rate reduction under EBLR is made available to all MSME sectors.
Great.
We'll ensure that there is absolutely no aberration in ensuring this transmission to the MSME sector.
Audience, some of the audiences wants to know the steps to improve the demand side under the situation. So probably my feeling is that probably the technology is the most important aspect in the current situation. The more and more you are like utilizing the technology for marketing, for like establishing a contract with the existing as well as the future customers, and probably the people should be much more like aware of the various schemes introduced by the government as well as the banks or the refinances like SIDBI. So the more you are aware of, the more you are understanding the actual like credit flow availability, then probably I feel that probably the situation can improve. So demand side is basically it's more of like how innovative you are. That's probably my feeling is. Any input for any of you, sir?
No, but in fact, who knew that you would be at ease to talk to Mr. Yogesh, to Dr. Misra and Madam Kavita? It's only COVID taught us. Before COVID, we never thought of going for a webinar, did we? We never thought of, at best we talk to each other over telephone, maybe occasional VCs, but it is really COVID which taught us, the pandemic taught us, yes, let us, take the webinar route or take the, technology route to get connected to people. And let me tell you very honestly, in the last 3-4 months, I think my team is around 13,000 strong in Gujarat. I think the number of people we have been able to connect during the pandemic time of the last 3 months, despite people operating from home, despite people coming on a staggered basis, I think this is much more. We have been able to connect with our people, I think, at a much greater and much bigger level than what we used to before. Because in the past, before the pandemic, the emphasis used to be to get connected to people, I mean, one-to-one. I mean, in physical meetings. But now physical meetings are not taking